quick YouTube live update for our weather across the region for this afternoon, evening time frame, but also looking ahead to the rest of the week as well. So we'll get started here in about a minute or so. It'll give me a chance to make sure everything's working here behind the scenes. So what I'll do in the meantime is flip the camera around and show you some beautiful conditions across western Montana. We're looking at Kalispell top left, Bolson, Butte, and over in the Garden City of Missoula. Overall, we're looking at quiet conditions right now. We've seen some spotty showers throughout the afternoon. Nothing overly impactful, but some valley rain and graupel showers, as well as the mountain snow showers that we've seen, but they've been very spotty this afternoon, and that's going to continue to be the case for at least the next, say, 1 to 2 hours. But changes are on the way, so we'll go into those in more detail here in just a few moments. But as you're tuning in, certainly let us know where you're tuning in from, and if you've got any questions or comments, feel free to ask those in the chat section, and I'll try and answer them as we go along. Overall, our forecast for at least this evening is very much the same as what it was yesterday. Looking at those showers continuing, we're going to see another wave of moisture rolling in here over the next 1 to 2 hours, right along the state line, but that'll overspread the entirety of the region, as we go throughout the night tonight and into tomorrow. And we'll take a look at Future Tracker with that one coming up here momentarily. It does look like everything's working here behind the scenes. So with that, I say let's get started. Overall, looking at a very nice evening across the area, though it is a breezy evening. We've seen another day with those winds 20 to 40 miles per hour. We'll continue to see those probably in that 15 to 25 mile per hour range for a few more hours before those start to calm back down after sunset tonight. But that's also going to be about the window that we start to see more of that moisture overspread the area. Now, behind yesterday's cold front, temperatures are a little bit cooler. We were in the upper 50s and 60s yesterday. Today, more like the low to mid 50s area-wide. That's where we are for most areas right now as we look at those current temperatures. Though towards Butte, we're at 49 degrees. The coldest air hanging on across west central, or I should just say western Montana, as that is. But you're seeing these general blues, especially in the higher elevations, a little bit more in the upper 50s and low 60s for southern and eastern portions of the state. But this is going to continue to be the case. Overnight lows, we're likely looking at those falling down into the 30s for most areas. But like I said, changes are on the way. We've seen quiet conditions, but here comes that next wave of rain and snow. You see us moving in from west to east across the Idaho Panhandle, and actually it is starting to move in to our region already as I stop the looping radar. Places like Heron, Noxon, Trout Creek, even towards Bull Lake and the Troy and Libby areas. We are going to see this increasing in coverage over the next say 20 minutes to 20 minutes to an hour. We'll give it a little bit of a time berth there. Thompson Falls, DeBorgia, St. Regis, Superior, Paradise Plains, you're going to be next in line for some of these showers. Overall, these should be on the lighter side, and snow levels still remain quite high at this time, up to around 5,000 to maybe even as high as 6,000 feet right now. That will change as we go throughout the evening. Snow levels will be falling back down to 4,500 feet. So as this wave of moisture pushes further across our region into northwest and west central Montana specifically, we'll see the potential for some light slushy accumulations of snow towards Lookout, Lolo, Lost Trail passes specifically, but maybe even as well for the passes along the divide, Marias, Rogers, McDonald, and towards Homestake as well. Looking a little further south at radar, we're seeing another little batch of activity that's going to be moving into close to the Georgetown Lake area right now. This will be moving in towards Anaconda and Butte over the next 30 minutes to an hour. I think for at least the short term, this should primarily stay as rain, or maybe even some graupel showers in these areas. And then we have some of these back over the Bitterroot Mountains as well. Our heaviest shower is actually this one, just trying to cross the state line here west of Darby and Como Lake, which is right there, or Lake Como, I should say. Let me specify the right order of that. But overall, that's just the general sense of what we're looking at. Scattered showers will be increasing in coverage from west to east over the next few hours. Future Tracker's done a good job picking up on this wave of moisture On the timing end, its intensity as well. May see a little bit more coverage as we get, say, 9 to 11 this evening. Still looking at valley rain, mountain snow. Snow levels will be dropping down to around 4,500 feet. This will get closer to the divide as we get, say, 11 to 1 a.m. With some lingering showers back into the Bitterroot Mountains. But overall, you'll notice how this begins to become more band-like in its structure after that initial push of moisture. We'll see more of these bands setting up northwest, west central, and southwestern Montana overnight tonight. It's in these bands that we could see some briefly heavier snowfall. Still not expecting heavy accumulations by any means, but for our passes, this is the window where we could see those slushy, maybe 1 to 2 inches of accumulation overnight tonight. This will continue into tomorrow morning, really starting to lose the coverage of that in northwest Montana. But focusing on this zone here, south of Missoula through the Bitterroot Valley, across towards McDonald Pass, Butte, Homestake Pass, and then maybe even Dillon over towards, say, Sheridan, Twin Bridges, and Ennis and Bozeman, that we'll see more of that moisture hanging on, still becoming much spottier into tomorrow morning. But I think by the time we get to, say, 3 o'clock, other than some high elevation showers, we're going to be looking at clearing skies as high pressure begins to build into our region. It's also going to still be another gusty day with those winds kicking up once again for tomorrow afternoon. And now, as for those snowfall totals, like I said, in most of our passes, we're talking 1 to 2 inches or less. This model is a little more aggressive towards Lolo Pass, maybe upwards to 3 to 4 inches for there, and Lost Trail passes. I still think in general, 2 inches or less of slushy accumulation in these areas, and then right along the divide and then areas east, Monida, Bozeman, Homestake, looking at maybe lesser totals from there, just a dusting. So not looking at major impacts, but just be aware if you have any travel plans for northwest and west central Montana passes, there could be some slushy spots on the roads. Now getting into those winds, so transitioning from the precipitation side to the wind side. Today we saw those gusts 20 to 40 miles per hour across the entirety of the area. These are going to be westerly winds, so once again for tomorrow afternoon, expect much the same. Our north-south roads will be dealing with some nastier crosswinds, and if you have any travel plans that take you east of the divide up into north-central Montana, Cut Bank, Great Falls, even stronger winds where we could be talking 50 to 60 miles per hour at times up in that area, and it is no longer in effect. There was a high wind warning, I believe, out there today, and maybe see some wind advisories or something of that nature up there for tomorrow. Again, for our region, 20 to 40 mile per hour winds are going to be common. North-south roads, again, are going to be tricky, so places like Interstate 15, US 287, 191 down here in southwest Montana specifically, could be dealing with some bad crosswinds on those roads, so certainly be aware. Maybe even for US 93 into west central and northwestern Montana, though I think the likelihood of bigger winds is going to be less for areas west of the divide. Those will calm back down into Thursday morning, but here we go into Thursday afternoon. Not as strong with that high pressure ridge in place, but maybe a few areas in southwest Montana, 20 to 30 miles per hour will be possible. The other thing I want to show is as this ridge of high pressure builds in, we're going to be looking at a rather quick warm-up with our temperatures from the 50s today and for the 50s on Wednesday. Watch how those jump up to the 60s and 70s for Thursday. Missoula 75, Dillon and Bozeman both 71 degrees. These temperatures in southwest Montana and maybe even to west central Montana, we'll have to keep a close eye on those because those will be approaching records for a few areas. Dillon, for example, for Thursday, that's only, I believe, 2 degrees shy of the daily record. Temperatures warm even further for a few areas into Friday, especially towards Butte. Dillon, you're only 3 degrees shy at that point, and some forecast models are showing those temperatures even warmer ahead of our cold front on Friday. It really comes down to the timing of it, but just be aware, we're talking temperatures 15 to maybe as high as 25 degrees above average and near record territory for Thursday and Friday. But you notice back towards Kalispell and Missoula, those temperatures started to cool down just a little bit. By the time we get into Saturday and especially Sunday, we're back to reality when it comes to spring in Montana. We're into the 50s and low 60s on Saturday, and really area-wide on Sunday. We're talking high temperatures in the 40s, and we could be talking primarily rain, but maybe even some snow for our region. And this is all going to be in association with our next weather maker that's going to roll through as we get into the end of the week. So high pressure builds tomorrow, will really be in place for Thursday and the first part of Friday, but Friday is going to be a big question mark. There is going to be a cold front sliding through the area. This is what's going to bring those precipitation chances up. It may come earlier in the day. It may hold off until later. There's a lot of uncertainty with the overall pattern for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but in general, we are going to see a cold front, and be prepared for active weather into this weekend, but the details are still getting ironed out, for lack of better terms. We're going to see, this is looking into Friday morning, and this is one of our more rapid forecast models. Some of them are holding this cold front off, which is located right here in this particular scenario, holding that off from arriving until the afternoon and evening. This particular model brings that into northwest and west central Montana. You see that line? That's pretty much the indicator for that cold front. This is into Friday afternoon. Not looking at a whole lot of precipitation with it. Some spotty showers will be there. Depending on how quickly this cold front slides through, that could actually open up the door for some thunderstorms to develop down in southwestern Montana, really areas ahead of that cold front. So Friday afternoon, just be aware, could be some thunderstorms out there, lightning, maybe some gusty winds will be the main concerns with those. Then we transition into Saturday and Sunday, and we're likely going to see that cold front pass through, a low pressure system develop, and some forecast models are being pretty aggressive with the cold air that's going to be in place, as well as the amount of precipitation. So we could be talking a spring winter-like storm for parts of the area. I think we're still going to be looking at that mix of valley rain and mountain snow, but this is looking on Saturday evening. Bozeman, Butte, Helena, Missoula, Kalispell, we're likely looking at those rain and snow showers. And as we go into Saturday night and Sunday with the colder air in place and those highs only warming into the 40s, there is a window, at least in this a few days out, where we could see some accumulating valley snowfall for a few areas. But that'll probably stay on the lighter side still, as it looks like right now. A dusting maybe to an inch or two for a few areas. Passes, that's where we're going to see things be a little bit more impactful, at least potentially with this storm system. For example, certain forecast models, and I'm going to use McDonald and Homestake passes for this example. Certain forecast models are showing a dusting maybe to an inch of accumulation. Other forecast models showing anywhere from maybe 8 to 12 inches of accumulation of that kind of heavy, wet snow. So that's where we're sort of sitting with this upcoming storm system. And we'll have plenty of days to watch it, but that kind of leads me into my next thing. And the reason I'm bringing this up right now is, I normally do these each and every night. Well, that is going to at least change for the next couple of weeks because I'm going to be out of town. I'm going to be heading on vacation for the next 2 weeks, so I will not be giving these updates each night here on YouTube, but also I will not be in for our live broadcasts at 5, 6, and 10. Forecaster Brianna Henderson will be in covering those shifts while I am gone. So certainly stay tuned to the changing forecast with Brianna as we head throughout this week, and then of course into the weekend she'll likely be here. She will be here for the weekend coverage with that storm system as well. But yeah, if you're looking to these YouTube live updates, at least for the next 2 weeks, you won't see them from me as I will be out and away for a little bit. So certainly with that, stay tuned to the forecasts that are coming out each day here at NBC Montana. But overall, that's really the look that we're at. If you have any questions or comments, this is going to be kind of that last call. But as I recap the headlines, but for tonight, we're going to see that next wave of moisture move through. We're looking at valley rain, mountain snow levels down to around 4,500 feet. Passes generally west of the divide, but a few along the divide could see some slushy 1 to 2 inch type accumulations. Not looking at major travel impacts, but some minor issues here and there will be possible. And then we get into warm up. We're going to see those temperatures, especially for Thursday, area-wide, talking upper 60s and 70s. A few areas in the Bitterroot Valley may even be closer to 80 degrees, so some very warm temperatures are going to be out there. Potentially a few records could fall Thursday and Friday. Cold front's going to come through sometime on Friday. That's the big question mark right now. Does that come through in the morning, or does that come through in the evening? If that comes through a little bit later, areas ahead of that front, we could be talking about some thunderstorms that develop with some gusty winds and lightning being the main concerns. But behind that cold front, next trough of low pressure moves in. Lots of question marks with that system right at the moment, but it could be a slightly more impactful spring winter storm. And that could bring some travel impacts, especially over our mountain passes. Those along the divide and in southwest Montana right now appear to be the focus. But with us still about 3 to 4 days away from that storm system, there's plenty of time for things to change. And we'll certainly have to keep a close eye on that as this forecast evolves and we get new information and new weather models or new weather model runs that come through to give us a better idea of what may be transpiring later on this week. But in general, regardless of when that cold front arrives, just be prepared. Friday night through Saturday and Sunday, we're going to be looking at much cooler temperatures, likely below average. Could be talking about a little bit of valley snow, primarily still looking at valley rain right now, with those past travel impacts being possible. And by the early parts of next week, temperatures start to moderate just a little bit, still looking relatively cloudy and maybe a little bit on the active side. But that's where we are for now on those. So if you have any photos or videos you'd like to share of the weather over the next couple of days, as we head into this weekend, feel free to do that at nbcmontana.com/chime-in. Tune into our live broadcast tonight at 10 o'clock. I'll have the latest weather updates. Laurel Staples will have the latest news updates. And then for tomorrow morning, Chief Meteorologist Brooke Foster and Jason Hurst with NBC Montana Today starting at 5. And then again, if you're looking for another YouTube Live update for the next couple of days leading into this storm system, there may still be some that occur, but I won't be here for those. Not sure if they will be, repeating while I'm gone. But regardless, forecaster Brianna Henderson will have all of those latest information, keeping a close eye on those forecast models and what we can expect with the potential of record highs Thursday into Friday and that next storm system for Friday and into the weekend. So thank you all for taking a little bit of your evening to spend it with me as I ramble on about Western Montana's weather. But again, as always, thank you for tuning in, and I will see you all on the next one here likely in about 2 weeks. So you have a great evening and a great next couple of weeks, and I'll see you all in the next one. With NBC Montana, I'm meteorologist Mitchell Coombs.